Welcome back to another episode, guys. So, no product. We're not going to talk about products or something as such. The person who's here with me today is so familiar. You guys would have seen him on our reels. Who talks motorcycles, talks motorcycle care, all that. So, let's welcome him to know what does he do apart from making reels. What is he? What does he ride? And much more to know. So, let's welcome Niranjan.
Thank you so much for welcoming me to this podcast show today, and I'm honored for sure.
Most welcome. So, let's talk motorcycle now. It's been like you've been always talking bike cares and talking about what is best for bikers and all that. So, what do you actually do apart from giving information?
I help people, influence their decisions on buying whatever products is there, or even help people with marketing in general. So my life revolves around marketing and motorcycles a lot.
Okay,
So the three M's of my life: marketing, music, and motorcycles. These three defines me.
okay.
Yeah,
You find yourself in between these three things.
absolutely.
Great. So, as you said, motorcycling. What do you ride in?
So I ride a 2020 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R.
Oh,
This is a really common bike actually, but I have
okay,
spec'd it for drag racing to be exact.
okay,
I really like motorcycling a lot, and this particular bike is something which I had as a poster dream bike from a really, really long time,
okay.
and I was
So, you like
really passionate
speeds.
about it. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you're focused on speeds.
I really like riding fast. I wouldn't say rash, to be
Okay,
honest, because I always make sure that the roads that we go are usually restricted for public access so that there is no traffic coming across at those sides.
got it,
I just always make sure that there's no one coming in between so that I don't harm the public or me either.
got it.
It's pretty risky to traveling at
Exactly.
those speeds and things like that.
Yeah,
But other than that, it's just amazing.
yeah. Speed thrills.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But
But
again,
kills.
let's
Yeah.
yeah, again it's safety, yeah. So you are precise about open forum. No, we don't do
Absolutely.
all that. So guys, please make note of that. Speed not on an open road, but he does it in a safe environment. So he checks what is right, what is wrong, and also all the time you are completely care.
To be honest, actually, we do a lot of things when we are actually riding. We
Okay,
go with a big group, to be honest.
okay.
About 13 to 14, I do not like to ride with anything more than that.
Hmm.
And whenever we do runs and whenever we have spaces where we do higher speeds, we make
Okay.
sure all the time, first of all, we are geared up. And
Yes.
one person will be there at the end and one at the start who will be communicating with each other just to know that there's no one coming in between, just
Exactly.
to keep it very safe. We do not want to, disturb the public, or and more than anything, our Indian roads are pretty much unsafe at most of these times, and you might have the risk of a dog coming in between,
Yes.
or probably another vehicle just coming out of nowhere.
Exactly.
And when you're riding at these high speeds on restricted roads, it's really not very safe, or you cannot even react that fast to braking hard at 321 kilometers per hour. That's insane.
321 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
That's good speed that we are really talking about. 321 kilometers per hour.
Very close to about 200 miles per hour in terms of
So
imperial terms. Yeah.
that's actually speed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the top speed of. I mean, there. That's actually a speedometer of few bikes, which they show up to 220, 320, and you clock 320.
So the thing is, the motorcycle will only show till 299 because that's the gentleman's agreement that was there in 2000, which does not let you go more than that.
More than that.
But my bike is not stock by any means. It is a stage two tune motorcycle. That means there is 1,000 more revs to play with than the
Okay.
stock bike, and the gearing is also such that you get to play around more. And there are plenty mods enough that pushes way more horsepower than the stock bike. So it's a lot of fun, I would say.
There's a lot of power that you carry
A
along.
lot of power, a lot of power.
And to tame that beast, you need to know it better. So as you've kitted up for track spec, you know it very well what it's going to throw at, and you know how to tame it.
Absolutely. To be honest, many a times people ask me, "Hey, bro, can I take your bike out for a spin?" Oh my
Okay.
God, I get anxiety when people ask me about my bike to be specific.
It's
In fact, people who have ridden Z900s,
okay.
they think that it's just 100 cc difference, right, between the Z900 and the ZX10R.
They actually don't know what
They
is the
don't know
carry.
the kind of power that comes with the ZX10R, even a stock form. I'm not even telling about the
Okay.
tuned bikes. Even let it be a S1000RR or any one of these later class bikes.
Okay.
The difference between the Z900, which is a naked machine, and these bikes is so far apart. The way the throttle response is and the way the engine behaves is absolutely mad. And that too, with the tuned bike, it is way beyond their expectations. And if they take that throttle for granted, they might just land up in I don't know where.
Yeah, I can literally imagine what would have happened. What if there is a head shake or a tank slap?
Absolutely,
It
absolutely,
just tosses you off.
absolutely.
So it's something that you have to smartly play with.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
that just go
totally.
sit there behind the bars and then throttle it. No, it doesn't work that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I'd say it takes a lot of time for you to get to know about the bike. So it's like even if you want to ride someone else's bike, just take your time to get prepared and get understand how that bike feels. I would not recommend you to do what I'm saying, like trying out someone's tuned bike, especially, or
Exactly.
jumping from a 150cc R15 to randomly trying out a Z900. Absolutely wrong thing
No,
to do. Should not even bother doing that because the characteristic of an R15 or a Duke 390 versus a Z900 is so far apart. You can't even gauge how fast that throttle would have already gotten you off it. It's
exactly.
like the ZX, I mean, the Duke 390 takes about 5 seconds to reach 0 to 300. Z900 does it under 3. And that's within the blink of an eye, which
Exactly.
is insane. And the torque is so much that without you trying, it will wheelie in every gear. And if you have no experience of that, you might overshoot that and flip,
Exactly.
which is pretty deadly. And people have died because of that.
Yeah. Dangerous sport.
Very
But if
dangerous
you
indeed.
take it in terms of passion and with right set of guidance, I think then it's a good sport to enjoy.
Absolutely, I would totally agree with that. And considering my bike to be specific, I've tuned it specifically for drag racing. As you can see, there are two different bikes out here.
Yeah.
I see this is really one of my favorites because this is something specific to MotoGP, and this is Pecco Bagnaya's bike.
Yeah.
He's also the reigning champion right now, and
Yes.
he's riding insanely well. Even in yesterday's race, it was
He was,
crazy.
yeah.
It was really good. And this out here is a really good drag spec bike, which is very good in drag racing abroad and a lot of different places. Though they are of the same color, they
Surprised
are
to see a Kawasaki in front of
exactly
me.
exact. Surprised to see a Kawasaki in front of me today.
Yeah, and you ride a Kawasaki.
Exactly.
Crazy, yeah. So why you had to get into drag? Like anything, any specific reason or something that you came across that you got love towards drag and
uh,
or super sport?
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that influenced me to go more towards drag racing, to be
Okay.
very specific. In my earlier days, I was into go-karting a lot. I even
Mm,
went towards the districts in go-karting JK Tire Championships when
okay.
in my earlier days. And I could not pursue anything in motorsports, unfortunately, because of the expenses that were involved whatsoever.
Okay.
And right now, this is one of the easiest way for me to get into motorsports. I
Okay.
honestly like riding on the track a lot more, where you get to enjoy the twisties, hitting the apexes right and getting out of the corners with the drift. That is just something else, the madness that's involved in
Yeah.
it. But then drag racing is really specific and very special to me because it is just that 10 seconds of time which decides your fate. It's like
Yeah.
it's not the 10 minutes of the race. It's just for the 10 seconds you practice for years and years together just so that you can get the right launch. You get the right techniques and you just use right methodologies and you invest a lot in trying to shave off milliseconds of your time. The drama which is involved in a drag race, I mean, it might just be start, go. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Literally,
what
that's it.
people see.
That's what little people just see that, but the things that go behind it is insane. The amount of preparation that goes, the amount of technicalities that is involved, the number of times you have to screw up your clutch plates, and you have
Yeah.
to keep rebuilding your parts every now and then because the wear and tear is so high. You will be
Mm,
constantly at full whack. I mean, imagine this: you ride on a track and you have to go using the launch, right? There'll be slipper clutch and there's launch control and a lot of things
yes.
which helps you and aids you in launching it right. But
Yes.
unfortunately, in a drag race, you dump your clutch at 14,000 RPM.
RPM.
Like it is like you start with 8,000 and 7,000, and you rev it up to 14,000 and come back. Basically, entire 220 bhp of your bike is just pushed out to the front, and you just have to pray that it doesn't flip you out and kill you.
Yeah.
So that
There's
is insanely scary, I will tell you.
yeah.
And that adrenaline that you get with that is unparalleled. In that speck of that small short period of time when you launch is just very intense.
So people look at just going off. I think that's something that you see and you enjoy. But before that launch, what happens is what is something
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
is controllable. Post which is like one whack and then you're all out.
Exactly. In fact, body position in this and all matters a lot. There are so many things. In fact, the first time when I actually took part in a organized race event was last year. And till then, I used to be a spectator myself. All through my life, I thought someday I will probably buy a bike and do something to that. Doom was one of the first movies where probably every single person out here, I mean, this milestone itself is also there in front of our plate, probably because of Doom. It wouldn't have come here, at least to the most count part. And like every other kid, I also dreamed of buying a big bike, and I really wanted to get into racing because even since my childhood days, I've been following MotoGP very closely, and I'm an ardent fan of Rossi too, like every single person is. And trust me, when I first initially saw Vroom and even Ambi Valley runs, I was just blown away. Okay, I see Ricky Gadsden as being one of my inspirations in drag racing, who is one of the fastest riders in the world class stock wheelbase categories in the ZX Tenors. They clock 8.86 seconds in the quarter mile, that is 400 meters, with with zero extensions of their swing arm, with a stock wheelbase, stock motor, just tuned and ridden well. So there's a misconception in drag racing that the more amount of power you have, the more faster you will go. It is about getting the power down to the wheel than having a higher horsepower figure. If that bike cannot be managed, you just cannot finish it right. So a lot of things are involved in that, and that really fascinated me a lot. Okay, so more horsepower is not enough. So if I buy a V4S, I won't win. What should I get right? I did a lot of research. I did a lot of things. There's even the GSXR 1000, which is a mid-range madness bike. But then I saw that abroad, lot of ZXNRs were winning as a category, but I see none in India, like literally none. In the Ambivary, I've seen once or twice that there was a ZXNR that is taking part, but I rarely see anything which takes a podium or anything of that sort. And people end up saying that ZXNR has a lot of low end issues, and it only makes more power in the mid and the top.
Get to H2.
Though, so they get to the S1000 RRs instead. So maximum people do that. They think that the S1000 RR is an upgrade from the ZX10R instead. I mean, to an extent, the S1000 RR makes very good power, no doubt, but the ballistic feel of the ZX10R when tuned is unparalleled. I've ridden a lot of bikes, I'm sure you guys would have as well, but the way the 10R makes power up top is just pure madness. With the right gearing, with the right tune, it is just too good.
So you need to know the motorcycle, not
Absolutely.
just go blindly by.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with more
Absolutely.
power, more responsibilities.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that.
So as you said, those 3 days in room that you're going to participate. So what exactly is it going to be for the 3 days? Is it cars also allowed on bikes and what categories? There's not much involved there when I went through that. So can you put it across precise what is?
Absolutely, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So 17th is basically the scrutiny day when you get to enter in and make sure the marshals get to check your bike and your gears really well. So the part of Vroom is that it is FMSCI approved. That means it is not just a standard event which just occurs randomly. It is actually controlled and regulated by a government body itself that is heavily into racing. So the marshals from there, the judges who are there, they come and physically check your motorcycle if it is compliant to everything. They make sure that your brakes are working right. They make sure that your engine does not have any faults. They make sure that your safety gears are fresh and have not yet expired yet. In fact, they check your helmet whether they are 4 years or earlier, and they do not want you to wear older helmets. They make sure that your gloves are not torn. They make sure that your entire jacket fits you right. In fact, they check a lot of things, and this makes sure that you stay safe while you ride on the track, because this is a very risky sport. Smallest of glitches. Imagine that while you're riding, if you have a hole in your glove, if it gets stuck in your brake by mistake, you're dead. I mean, no one, and you also sign an indemnity bond that no matter what happens on the track, that is on me. So whether I'm out also, if even if I die on the track, that is on solely my responsibility. So we have to take extra care that we have to be safe and buy the best quality riding gears just for our own safety and other safety too. So we have to make sure that our bikes are regularly serviced. They are in their utmost tip-top shape. Brakes are working great. We have to make sure that our safety gears are also fresh. So these are one of the things that takes place in first day. and then we are obviously taken back home. And also there's some section called as the paid runs,
Okay.
where people get to pay a little bit of amount and they get to ride on the track and practice and check their times what they're getting on the actual
Got it.
track.
Got it.
Because
Yeah.
honestly, everyone would have practiced on closed sections of different roads or on the roads itself, which is not at all safe. And getting to ride on a track for practice is a very good thing.
Yeah.
So that is something that they get to do on day one.
Mm.
Similarly, on day two, the actual event starts. This is usually the two strokes and the Indian class categories for
Okay.
both four wheelers and two wheelers. So
Okay.
they have a lot of two-stroke bikes there. They have a lot of sub 500 cc segment motorcycles and a lot more events which takes place in day two. But that will be restricted to sub 500 cc category.
Okay, different categories of
Absolutely.
CCs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think under your category,
So the category which I'll be taking part is two of them actually. One
okay.
is D1 and E3. So
Okay.
D1 is the 850 cc to 1050 cc segment category.
Okay.
This will be for an inline 4 stroke category.
Okay.
And the other one, E3, is an unrestricted class, which is about 550 cc and above. So
Okay.
whatever is there, you can take part in that. They'll just see the best time and that person wins. So the way to win in Vroom or any of these drag quests is very simple: 1, 2, and 3. Fastest guy 1, fastest guy 2, and the runner up. That's it. So there's a podium prize for only the first person. The other two get bragging rights with the trophies. That's it. Nothing more than that.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
fastest guy.
Fastest guy is the one who wins it.
Okay.
That's a really cool thing as well, because it's incredibly tough.
Yeah.
The people are spec so close to each other. It's all about riding skill. Nothing more than that. Because most of these bikes are maxed out and they will be producing very similar horsepower figures and track setups are very similar. So there's not much you can do with that respect. It all boils down to how good you can ride.
Yeah.
So it's all rider skill there. People think that it's just a straight line. Anyone can go there. I mean, I'll just pick up my bike and you just have to go on a straight line, right? Nothing more than that. Unfortunately, no. It's one of the most riskiest things that you can do in this short span of time, because you have a chance of flipping over and
Exactly.
probably if not held right, you can go hit the dividers. It actually happened last season where Hemant Muddappa hit the cones,
Okay.
and there was a lot of damage to his fairings and things like that. He would have, if he did not control it right, or if he was not skilled enough, he could have probably hit the spectators and caused a lot more damage.
Got it.
Imagine you barreling down the straight in that 400 meters, riding at about 240 to 50 kmph, and if you go hit the
Speed.
barricades where people are standing, that's a massacre there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of speed to handle with, and with a lot of responsibilities. I think they are taking an uttermost care and they're doing it right. So before we wind this up, so when we're talking about speeds and all this, there are newbies out there who are so excited when you said the fastest wins. So they go all out. They would try to do this all out and see what their machine can do. So any informative tips that you want to give them before they take it as a light sport, and anybody can go all out because there's no restrictions over throttle. Anybody twists and it goes. So what do you have to tell them? How do you put it across to let them know that do it right? What are the formats to get there?
Mhm.
How do they do it?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely. I have a ton of things to share about this, to be very honest with you guys. I was also one of them when I was small, and when I picked
yeah,
up my first bike, and I saw these guys at Vroom. In fact, I saw the first edition of Vroom on my R15. I got to see all these bikes together. It was going on at Nice Road, and it was one of the most beautiful sights. And I got that rush and adrenaline that okay, these bikes are going so fast. I have to ride fast as well. That was scary, and it is not the right thing to do, because back then I did not have riding gears. I had a very basic helmet. I did not have a riding jacket. I did not have a riding pant. I was just riding around with my jeans, plain shirt, and boots. This is not at all cool, and without gloves as well. And these are very scary things to do, especially if you're going fast and things like that. My request for you guys is to go for the basic L1, L2 training course, which you get in a lot of these. There's Curry in Coimbatore, there's the new one called as Coast also in Coimbatore, or you could just go to MMRT. If you're really serious about going fast, might as well do it the right way. The thing is, someone else would have taught you how to ride, who himself is not a great rider.
makes sense. Yeah.
He would not have learned the right way. The thing about going to riding schools, especially the ones which teaches you how to go around the track well, helps you unlearn what you have learned, which is
Exactly.
very important. If putting our ego aside and understanding the right ways and the technicalities of riding around, getting to understand our bike better,
Mm.
getting more seat time, basically practicing more, just riding around better there. If you really want to enjoy speeds, do it on a track, do it in closed spaces where public is not involved, where you get a clear sense of what you can do, where you have good line of sight. Very important, you should not have dogs coming in between. People coming from the opposite sides.
Yeah.
This is absolutely very scary. And more than scary, it is dangerous for them as well. I mean,
Exactly.
they are just innocent beings, and because of you, someone else should also not get hurt. And you
Exactly.
have your parents and your close ones waiting for at home. So racing and motorsport is very risky. I would not suggest you to do it in open spaces or in the public roads.
Yes.
Absolutely. So that
Definitely.
is something which I would really request you guys. And more than anything, wear all your gears all the time. Absolutely necessary. Make sure that you have the, if you are riding fast and if you are a hard rider, if you are any way related to motorsports or you want to do anything related to that, buy the best gear. I mean, that's the least that you can invest. If you can buy a 20 lakh worth bike, even a 5 lakh worth bike, or even a 2 lakh worth bike, just spend 15% of that amount on riding gears.
Yes.
It helps a lot. Uh, with places like HTRZ mods, you get every single thing. You can try it, experience it. People couldn't do that in earlier days.
Yeah.
People used to buy online, wear all the ill-fitting gears. They could not get anything right. I mean, with places like HTRZ mods, you literally can wear it and try another size, see which fits better, see which looks better. There is the mirrors and things like that. It's just amazing. That's the best part of it. So you can always head over to the store. We'll always be there to help you out as well.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing, I would say. You have the luxury of getting to grab the right things and even returning it back if you don't like and try something else from our store.
Sure.
That's one of the coolest things that is
Really
there. So yeah,
because again, we keep you up with right gears and you don't look odd also. You have
exactly.
options in
Yeah, you have
color
options.
options.
It always used to be black and some wacky colors
Yeah.
and some random designs and things like that back in the day.
Back, yeah, there were no multiple options. Now
Absolutely.
there are multiple brands who are coming with good color schemes and good options which fits you right. And also you don't look odd or you want the color spec to match your bike. So you have a green bike, I want a gear with a green or a shoe or a glove. A lot of options available. So that's what you hear it from the man out there who's always been all out, but still he doesn't compromise on gears.
Absolutely never.
The confidence that you get after wearing that, you can go all out because you have a protection over yourself, right?
Trust me, Iron Man himself feels stronger when he's in the suit, right? He
Exactly.
wouldn't feel great without it. He needs it to feel Iron Man, right?
As simple as that.
Exactly as that.
So that's about it, guys. So you have already heard it from the man out there. So let's wish him all the best for this coming right. Let's see all the best for you for the podium.
Thank you so much. More than anything, I'm more than happy to be a part of HTRZ Mods for this and they behind me. I mean, they are actually supporting me for the entire event is really great because I've seen HTRZ supporting so many riders throughout our lives,
Yeah.
whether stunting or wheelie championships, so many people, and I have been with HTRZ for quite some
Yeah.
time. And
Very
it,
familiar
I
face.
feel very honored that I'm getting a lot of support from you guys as well.
So until then, ride hard, ride safe. Cheers.
Cheers.